Breaking news from the classic car market. 7 critical mistakes are quietly destroying values on 1950s through 1990s classics, and the numbers are shocking. We're talking 20 to 60% value loss on cars that should be appreciating. I'm about to show you exactly what's happening in 2025 and how to protect your investment. The classic car market just experienced a major correction. After the pandemic bubble burst, we're seeing 15 to 25% price drops on muscle cars from their 2021 peaks. But here's what's really interesting. Certain categories are still climbing. 1980s and 90s Japanese sports cars are up 40%, while traditional American muscle is finding its floor. What's driving this dramatic shift? The collector demographic is changing faster than ever before. Millennials now control 35% of classic car purchases, up from just 20% in 2020. They're not chasing the same cars their fathers collected. Instead, they're gravitating toward the cars they dreamed about in high school. That means Supras, RX-7s, and 3000 GTs are commanding premium prices while traditional Chevelles and Mustangs face headwinds. If you want the latest market updates and investment alerts, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. The data I'm sharing today could save you tens of thousands. Let me give you the current reality. Median prices by decade tell the whole story. 1950s classics are running $35,000 to $85,000 depending on condition. 1960s muscle cars command $45,000 to $125,000. The 1970s emissions era cars sit at $25,000 to $65,000. 1980s emerging classics range from $15,000 to $55,000, and 1990s future classics are $12,000 to $45,000. But these ranges hide a crucial truth. Within each category, there's a massive spread between cars that maintain value and those that crater. The difference often comes down to 7 specific mistakes that most owners don't even realize they're making. Here's where it gets interesting. The market has become incredibly sophisticated. Gone are the days when you could hide problems with fresh paint and hope for the best. Today's buyers arrive with digital tools, extensive research, and zero tolerance for deception. They're using paint thickness gauges, compression testers, and even bore scopes to inspect engine internals. The old tricks simply don't work anymore. Mistake number 1 is non-matching numbers. This single issue drops value 25 to 40% instantly. We're talking about engine, transmission, and differential numbers not matching factory records. In 2025, digital buy-in verification tools are making this scrutiny even tighter. Buyers are using blockchain authentication systems and portable scanners. If your numbers don't match, you're looking at massive discounts. The brutal reality is that numbers matching has become the price of admission for serious money. A Camaro SS with a replacement engine might still be a great driver, but it will never command collector premiums. The market has spoken clearly on this issue. Authenticity trumps performance every single time. What's particularly challenging is that many owners discover number mismatches only when selling. That small block Chevy might run perfectly, but if the casting numbers don't align with factory records, you've just lost $20,000 in value. Documentation is everything in today's market. Mistake number 2 is poor documentation. Missing service records, ownership history, and restoration receipts cost you 20 to 35% in value. The new standard in 2025 is digital maintenance logs. Buyers expect cloud-based records, maintenance apps, and complete paper trails. A simple binder beats any story, but digital documentation is becoming the gold standard. Think about this from a buyer's perspective. They're about to spend $50,000 on a car. Would you rather buy the one with 3 decades of organized service records or the one where the seller says, "Trust me, it's been well maintained"? The choice is obvious, and the market reflects this preference in cold, hard cash. Modern collectors are treating classic cars like financial instruments. They want provenance, maintenance history, and proof of proper care. A complete set of receipts showing regular oil changes, tune-ups, and preventive maintenance can add thousands to your car's value. Conversely, a gap in documentation raises red flags and kills deals. Mistake number 3 is structural rust and frame issues. This is the big one, folks. Floor pans, jacking points, trunk wells, and a pillar damage can slash values 30 to 60%. Here's the brutal reality in 2025. Major rust repair now costs $15,000 to $40,000. Restoration shops are backed up, labor costs have exploded, and quality metalwork is harder to find. The rust issue has become particularly acute as cars from the 70s and 80s enter classic status. These vehicles lived through the worst years of road salt usage, and many are showing serious structural problems. What looked like surface rust 5 years ago has now eaten through critical support structures. Professional restoration costs have skyrocketed due to several factors. Skilled metal workers are retiring faster than new ones are entering the trade. Environmental regulations have made body shop operations more expensive. Insurance costs for restoration facilities have increased dramatically. The result is that rust repair work that cost $8,000 in 2020 now runs $15,000 or more. Mistake number 4 is incorrect paint and color changes. Non-factory colors, poor paint quality, and overspray evidence reduce values 15 to 30%. But there's a major market shift happening. Survivor patina is increasingly valued over repaints. Buyers are paying premiums for original paint, even if it's not perfect. Fresh paint without documentation raises red flags. This represents a fundamental change in collector attitudes. Previous generations of enthusiasts believed that fresh paint improved value. Today's buyers are more sophisticated. They understand that original paint tells the car's story in ways that a respray never can. Even faded, slightly scratched original paint commands respect and premium pricing. The Survivor car movement has gained tremendous momentum. Collectors are specifically seeking vehicles with original paint, interior, and mechanical components. These cars offer authenticity that restored examples simply cannot match. Barrett Jackson reports that Survivor cars are consistently outperforming restored examples by 15 to 20% at auction. Mistake number 5 is irreversible modifications. Cut firewalls, chop tops, and permanent engine swaps destroy 20 to 45% of value. The exception is period-correct performance modifications, which are gaining acceptance. But if you can't bolt it back to stock, you're limiting your buyer pool significantly. The modification landscape has become nuanced. Not all changes hurt value anymore. Period-correct modifications that enhance performance while maintaining the car's character are increasingly accepted. A '67 Camaro with a properly installed cowl induction hood and performance exhaust might actually bring more money than a completely stock example. However, irreversible changes remain value killers. chopped tops, sectioned frames, and major body modifications appeal to a very narrow buyer segment. When selling time comes, you're competing with unmolested examples that appeal to mainstream collectors. Mistake number 6 is poor storage history. Outdoor storage, flood damage, and rodent infestation cost 10 to 25% in value. Garage-kept cars are commanding 20% premiums in 2025. Climate-controlled storage demand is up 30%. Battery tender and fuel stabilizer systems are now considered standard equipment. Storage has become a major differentiator in the classic car market. Cars with documented indoor storage history are bringing significant premiums. Conversely, vehicles with outdoor storage show accelerated deterioration that buyers can easily identify. Sun damage to interiors, paint oxidation, and weather-seal deterioration are immediate red flags. The professional storage industry has evolved to meet collector demands. Climate-controlled facilities with security systems, maintenance services, and digital monitoring are proliferating. These services aren't cheap, but they're proven their value in maintained car values. And, hey, if you're finding this market intelligence valuable, drop a like to help other classic car owners discover this critical information. Mistake number 7 is deferred maintenance. Non-running condition, seized engines, and brake system failures reduce values 15 to 35%. Basic recommissioning now costs $8,000 to $15,000. Parts availability is getting worse, and skilled mechanics are retiring faster than new ones are training. The maintenance challenge has intensified significantly. Classic car-specific mechanics are becoming scarce. Parts availability for common maintenance items is declining. Labor rates for specialized work have increased dramatically. A car that needs basic recommissioning faces substantial costs before it can be safely driven. Buyers understand these realities and adjust their offers accordingly. A non-running classic isn't just inconvenient, it's expensive to fix. The market prices this risk into every transaction. Now, let me give you the 60-second buyer inspection checklist that protects you from these mistakes. Spend 15 seconds on the exterior. Check panel gaps for consistency. Run a magnet test for body filler. Inspect for rust in wheel wells, door frames, and rocker panels. Look for paint mismatch and overspray evidence. 10 seconds on the interior. Verify seat wear matches mileage. Check for dashboard cracks and modifications. Examine pedal wear consistency. Confirm the numbers matching data plate is present and legible. 15 seconds in the engine bay. Verify matching numbers immediately. Assess fluid leaks and their severity. Note any aftermarket modifications. Check wiring harness condition for amateur work. 10 seconds under the car. Inspect frame integrity at stress points. Check jacking point condition carefully. Evaluate the exhaust system for leaks or damage. Look at transmission and differential for leaks or modifications. Final 10 seconds on documentation. Verify title clarity and ownership chain. Confirm service records are present and organized. Count previous owners, fewer is better. Check for restoration receipts and parts invoices. Here's what's really driving the market in 2025. Millennial buyers now represent 35% of classic car purchases, up from 20% in 2020. Generation X is dominating the 1980s and 90s segment, driving those 40% price increases I mentioned. Meanwhile, baby boomers are accelerating liquidation of their 1950s and 60s collections, affecting supply dynamics. This generational shift is creating winners and losers across the classic car spectrum. Cars that baby boomers cherish are facing selling pressure as collections are liquidated. Simultaneously, vehicles that younger collectors desire are experiencing supply shortages and price appreciation. The authentication technology is evolving rapidly. Portable paint thickness gauges are mainstream now. Digital compression testers are standard inspection tools. Borescope inspections for engine internals are becoming routine. Buyers are more educated and better equipped than ever before. According to Hagerty Insurance's latest market analysis, the classic car market is experiencing a generational transition. Values are stabilizing after the pandemic bubble, with authenticity and documentation becoming paramount. Barrett Jackson reports that survivor cars are outperforming restored examples by 15 to 20%. Buyers want originality over perfection. For market timing, the best buying season runs January through March during post-holiday selling. Premium season is April through September during driving season. The major auction calendar still drives market sentiment significantly. Here's my final advice for 2025. Focus on authenticity you can prove with documentation. Maintain complete service records in both physical and digital formats. Choose smart specifications that enhance rather than detract from originality. Preserve correct colors and materials whenever possible. Keep mechanicals fresh and properly maintained. Present everything honestly without auction day theatrics. The classic car market rewards transparency, punishes deception, and values authenticity above all else. Whether you're buying, selling, or holding, these 7 mistakes can make or break your investment. Thanks for watching this critical market update. Subscribe for more urgent classic car news and investment alerts, and I'll see you in the next one with the more breaking developments from the collector car world.